Madrid dominant in possession, but that was about it as they split the points at Mestalla with Valencia. What does it mean at the top of the table? Well, a little bit of a missed opportunity for Real Madrid as they now sit just 7 points clear of Girona, who will be in action tomorrow away against Valencia. Barcelona also with a chance to maybe reel in Real Madrid. They'll be away against Athletic Club on Sunday. All right, Luis Garcia back with us. Guys, I mean, so many places we could start. I think just generally, Real Madrid dropped points here, right? And it was a bit of a disappointing performance, especially in that first half.
I think they went out in the first half and they played with two wide players. They didn't play with a centre-forward, and Belligham was sitting deeper. And Valencia were the old-fashioned 4-4-2. So their two centre-halves had nobody to mark. For the first 15, 20 minutes, Real Madrid could pass the ball easy round the back, and there you see the stats, they had loads of possession. But there was no penetration. There was no forward movement. They didn't have a centre-forward. And eventually Valencia thought, hang on, we can go and press the ball a little bit higher up the field. We can corner Real Madrid, we can win the ball back and cause one or two problems. And Real Madrid started to make mistakes. They didn't have an answer to it. They didn't change it until they started the second half, when they got Vinicius Junior and Rodrigo to play much narrower. Sometimes Bellingham went out to the left-hand side. So they did have players playing through the middle. So that's what changed, and that's why they were more effective in the second half.
What was your prediction, Robbo, in the pregame show? Remind me again.
I thought Real Madrid would win 2-1.
Okay, you had Real Madrid winning. You know who picked a draw?
I think Luis Garcia.
Luis Garcia picked a draw. Luis, why did Real Madrid struggle so much?
Well, I think that Robo mentioned a few of the good things why Real Madrid once again did just enough, and today they just got short. We've seen Real Madrid 1-0 against Valencia, 1-1 against Rayo Vallecano, 1-0 against Leipzig. And in the past 2-3 months, it's been like this every single weekend. Because the amount of the rotation, players injury, and of course the talent that this team is got, they play, and in the end, they manage to get the result. But today, against a team that is very well organized, once again, Rubén Baraja has done an amazing job with this Valencia. It just got short in the second half. Again, more intensity, bringing fresh legs, bringing more players into the center, trying to create a little bit more danger. But it wasn't enough because Valencia I think they conceded only 6 goals in the season. So that showed that this team, it was ready to fight against Real Madrid. It's true that Valencia knew that making quick transition, they will have their option, they will have opportunities. And the Real Madrid, when they have Tchouaméni and Rudiger at the back, they struggle on the build-up. They cover the area of Toni Kroos that today was disappear, because there was always a player on him, because he's the player who can manage, who can keep the tempo, who can really make the rest of the players play. And in the end, Real Madrid, they managed to get that result with another goal and get the equalizer. But I thought that Valencia was going to keep that momentum and stay with the 2-1 to Real Madrid. I think they got just too short, and that's what they're going to feel in the next games, because against Leipzig, it's going to be very similar.
This is one of those strange results that, even though you're sitting top of the league and you drop points, normally the question is, oh, you're dropping points and we can't afford... This won't feel like that.
Why?
Because of the way the game ended. They will feel as though they've had 2 points ripped from the grasp. And so they'll be galvanised by the fact...
Really?
Aye. You know, nobody at Real Madrid is going to be looking at the table going, we've dropped points, oh my goodness, we can't afford to drop any more. Which, of course, they can't, but the whole psychology of certainly going into the Leipzig game, they will go into this next game on a high.
It won't affect the Leipzig game, but remember, Bellingham will be suspended after.
Yeah, and I mean, beyond the final result, I get it in the end of the game, but the 90 minutes, that doesn't concern you at all from a Real Madrid kind of title pursuit perspective? I know they've got a cushion.
Not the title pursuit. How they performed would worry me, and that they went about it in the wrong manner, and how they started the game so slowly, and they wanted to calm the crowd down, but they didn't then pick it up when things started to get a bit feisty. And that's what they had to do much earlier in the game than wait till the second half to play better.
What did you make of Bellingham today?
He looked slightly off the pace today. He made one good run in the first half when Vinicius Junior, I think, played it with the outside of his boot. He got him behind. He didn't look quite so sharp in possession. He didn't make so many forward runs. He looked a little bit off the pace, I would say.
Yeah. Vinicius Junior, the subject of conversation before the game, and he gets the 2 goals. I mean, he's the difference there for Real Madrid. He bails them out.
In the right place at the right time. I think he was better in the second half because he played narrower. In the first half, he was up 1v1 against Fouquet, who did well against him. But he also didn't have anybody to play off of. So when you're playing as a wide player, you want to go past people, but you also want to be able to play 1-2s off the front player. there was no one for him to play 1-2s off or link up with. So that was the problem in the first half.
Really is kind of their main scoring threat at the moment, isn't he?
Yes, along with, I mean, not today Bellingham wasn't, but Bellingham had one great chance, remember?
Yeah. The goals have dried up a little bit for Bellingham, though, and it's hard to imagine them, you know, keeping at the same pace that he did through the first half of the season.
He can't do. He's a midfield player that's playing in an attacking role. He sometimes has to play on the left-hand side.
And to your point, they don't have a 9, so it is kind of down to Vinicius, isn't it?
Vinicius and Bellingham and Rodrigo. Rodrigo was in the first part of the second half playing as the main centre-forward. And if you play as the main centre-forward, you've got to be a goal threat. You've got to make runs in behind. You've got to link up the play. And I don't think Rodrigo did that. That's why they took him off and bought Joselu.
As we look ahead to the Champions League, any worries there?
Derek mentioned it in the commentary. Leipzig had a lot of chances in the first game against Real Madrid. Simons, Sesko all had chances early on in the game. Olmo played well. If they don't get their attitude right, Real Madrid could have a problem. But if they get their attitude right and they start the game properly and they play on the front foot and get the ball into the front areas much quicker than they did today, I can't see them losing to Leipzig.
Luis, if we get a similar performance like we did today from Real Madrid against Leipzig midweek, will it be enough?
No, definitely not. We saw what happened in the first leg. I think that they were lucky to manage to get that goal from Brahim Diaz. That it was an excellent play and a fantastic goal. But you could see that Leipzig dominated. They created so many chances. You were talking about Xavi Simons, Dani Olmo. They did an amazing job up front, and Sesko was the one who didn't have the end product. But they are going to arrive to the Bernabeu with the same mentality, the same intensity. That's the only way that they know how to play. And if Real Madrid is not going to bring higher on the intensity, bring more aggressiveness up front, they're going to have problems. And this is a team, a German team, that is going to have that great result today and is going to try to do it again with that confidence. So, yeah, they need to bring the A game if they want to go through.
All right, it sounds like the ending to this game is going a bit viral. People all over the world talking about it. Let's get another perspective on the crazy ending that we just saw. I believe Julian Laurent is with us. Jules, what'd you make of the last seconds there of added time in Valencia?
I thought it was incredible. I mean, to be fair, between the Diakabi injury, that as distressing that was, and the finale of it, the goal that they scored a few seconds after the referee had blown the whistle, was really incredible. I mean, I think we all watched it feeling that there would be a time where Real Madrid would score that winner like they've done so many times. And even when they don't play well, they usually find a way of coming back into games and then winning. But they just scored the 5 seconds too late, really. Apart from that, they would have won that game. It was incredible, really. But I like what Valencia showed. I like what Ruben Barajas is doing over there. Real Madrid won't be able to make those mistakes against Leipzig because, as the both just said, Leipzig are on good form. They're a really good team. They will punish any mistakes that Real Madrid could make next week at the Bernabeu. But with the advantage from the first leg, I think it's hard to see Real Madrid not really making sure that they qualify for the quarterfinals.
There's some worry, Robbo, about the vulnerability of Real Madrid defensively.
We were talking about it before the game. Yes, a little bit. But I don't think when Tchouaméni...
Valencia had, what, like 25% possession?
Yeah.
And looked very dangerous with it when they had it.
I wouldn't say they looked very dangerous. They had one or two... They obviously scored a couple of goals.
Or 2 goals.
But they were mistakes, mainly, by Real Madrid. That was the vulnerability. They didn't play enough with the ball, Real Madrid. My worry would be the left-back. Tchouaméni, I think, has done an excellent job when he's played at centre-half. He's a midfield player playing at centre-half. Rudiger is a good player. Carvajal made a mistake today, but I think he's still a big player. Mendy is a player that if he's not given any protection down that left-hand side, he can make mistakes. He's not very good in 1v1 situations.